Barnaby Jones, starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather, with guest stars Glenn Corbett, Lynn Marta, special guest star Nina Foch. Tonight's episode, Divorce, Murderer Style.
What's so interesting?
That marvelous-looking waiter. You used to have a figure like that, didn't you, Charlie?
You telling me I'm getting fat?
Oh, no. Just comfortable. Like a friendly old overstuffed chair. You were so beautiful when I first met you.
What do you want from me?
Another 50-yard run, I suppose. The crowd's yelling and the band's blaring.
Nobody can be a football hero forever. You have to look for other values in a man.
Let me write that down.
Stop it, Linda.
All right. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I'll tell you a secret.
What?
I'm divorcing you.
I can't live without you.
Oh, Charlie, please. Now, if we can't be kind, let's at least be honest. When you married me for what my family could give you. Fat vice presidency in the firm. And a shelf for your trophies.
I guess you've said it all.
You know, I'm really sorry it ended this way. You know, I really am sorry.
Where's the attendant?
He'll be here in a minute.
Well, I don't want to wait a minute.
Hold it. Behave, you won't get hurt. Hand over your cash. The lady, all your jewelry. Move. Did I do all right?
Yeah, but we gotta make it look real good.
Hold still, I'll just crease you a little bit.
Don't! Please! Linda.
I was in Cap Ferrara when the family phoned with my niece's death. I flew home immediately. It's hard to believe that anyone so beautiful and vital is gone. I practically raised that girl. I arranged her coming out party. Always saw that she met the right people.
May I get you something? Some tea, perhaps?
An aperitif.
Our stock is kind of low. Got a little bourbon?
That'll be fine.
I'll have the usual, Betty.
Yes, Linda was my greatest achievement. I'll never forget the first time I took her to Paris. Such fun explaining to everyone that we weren't sisters. I planned a marriage for her with an Italian count. I was heartbroken when she insisted on marrying Charles.
Why was that?
Ah, it's all very well to watch a football player scratch around in the muck, but you don't invite one into your house. But I forgave her. She was really in love with Charles, and he had some nice qualities.
Miss DeRoche, why are you suspicious about your niece's death? Thank you.
Oh, there's an old French saying. Où il y a le triangle, il y a souvent la mort.
Well, roughly, I suppose that translates into where there's a triangle, there's death. What kind of a triangle?
Why, Linda had an admirer. He was mad about her, furious that she wouldn't leave Charles.
Seems like what you're saying is that what happened the other night was more than just a robbery.
I can't be sure, but isn't it true that each man kills the thing he loves? Especially in California.
Be more likely to kill the husband.
Well, he must have realized that Linda would have an admirer. She was so beautiful.
All due respect, ma'am, this is pure conjecture.
Yes. But Linda did say he said something very dramatic. If I can't own you, no one will.
Yeah, it is pretty strong. Do you have any idea who this admirer might be?
No, Linda never told me. She did say, though, that he was subject to fits of violence. Oh, Mr. Jones, do find out what really happened.
Charlie, I know it's no comfort at a time like this, but what we all wanted to say, what a brave thing you did. Putting yourself in danger, trying to save Linda.
It's hard to imagine going on without her. I don't know what I'm going to do now. Maybe get away.
That's a good idea. Take all the time you need. Don't worry about the job. Your desk will always be there. Oh, I don't think you know my daughter, Terry.
Miss Mabry.
I'm sorry to meet you under these circumstances, Mr. Court. I've always been one of your greatest fans.
Well, if you'll excuse me.
Is there anything else we can do?
No, I just want to be alone for a while.
Mr. Court?
Yes.
This is Mrs. Wilson.
Who?
The wife of the man you killed. I think you and I should have a little talk.
Charlie Court and his wife here often?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Court at lunch here frequently.
That's so. Who with?
She was accompanied by other ladies, sometimes.
Mind telling me about the time she wasn't?
She might have eaten alone.
It's hard to picture.
She may have been with a gentleman, if that's what you're suggesting. But I honestly can't recall. If you'll excuse me, sir.
You hear any of that?
It's possible that he doesn't remember the guy.
You sound like you do.
Mainly just the car. It's kind of beat up for a place like this. Always had it stuffed with paintings, wild, modern stuff.
You know anything else about him?
Well, thin, good looking. Oh, and a lousy tipper. But he certainly wasn't the one that killed Mrs. Court. Have they identified the mugger yet?
His name's Frank Wilson, drifter, got a record, armed robbery.
No, the minute I spotted him, I should have run him off.
He was here before?
Earlier that evening, down by the edge of the lot.
Where?
I'll show you. Yeah, just about right down in here.
Looks like he staked himself out for quite a while. See the whole parking lot from here.
Must have been waiting for the right victim.
Why?
Why what?
Why wait? Seems to be anybody coming out of there been rich enough to rob. You couldn't buy a glass of cold water in there for less than $100. Was there a lot of traffic at that time of the night?
Sure. It was about closing time.
You know, it seems odd that he would let some pigeons go by and wait to pick on Charlie Court. I wouldn't want to tackle anybody that big, even if I was packing a gun.
Over here. So nice of you to come, Mr. Court. Forgive me for being nervous, but Frank's death was such a shock.
They never told me Wilson had a wife.
Yes. Won't you sit down? We didn't live together too long. He was always wandering around getting into trouble.
What do you want?
Well, first to tell you that I hold no hard feelings towards you, and that I hope you won't hate me for some things I have to tell you.
Go on.
Frank visited me last week up in Fresno. He wanted a reconciliation. I'd always refused him till he could straighten himself out and prove a good husband.
This doesn't concern me.
Well, he gave me some money. He said it was an advance from a friend in L.A. who offered him a job. Now, this set me to wondering, what kind of a job gives advances? I mean, wouldn't you wonder? I thought he'd gotten in with the wrong people again, and I wanted to find out who. So I did something terrible. I searched his things, and I found your name and phone number.
Well, that doesn't prove anything. Only that he was setting me up for a robbery.
Of course not. And the fact that you and Frank were friends before the robbery doesn't prove anything either.
I never saw your husband before last night.
Oh, I don't blame you for not remembering. It was such a long time ago, wasn't it? In North Carolina. A place called Cherry Point. I guess you forgot to tell the police.
So did you, evidently.
I don't want to get involved in anything. I just would like to get away from all these terrible memories.
That's a very good idea.
I have a sister in Hawaii. But it's so expensive there.
How expensive?
Oh, I couldn't think of making a move like that without at least $5,000. You wouldn't know where I could borrow it, would you?
Maybe. Suppose I call you later this afternoon.
I'd like that. Just ask for room 18. Talk to you later, then.
How'd it go?
I think we bought him too cheap.
Well, you can always raise the ante.
Yes? Who? All right, send him in.
Hi.
May I help you? Mr. Jones, is it?
Barnaby Jones. I'm a private investigator.
What are you investigating?
Mrs. DeRoche has some suspicions about your wife's death.
And Eleanor? What suspicions?
Well, she had the feeling that there could have been some other criminal involved besides Wilson.
Well, I'm not surprised she'd say that. She sees every criminal in the country under her mattress. What does that prove?
Either that she sleeps in a very large bed, or you're saying she's eccentric.
She's wasting her money on your time, Mr. Jones.
Free country. You mind if I ask you a few questions about your wife's murder?
What can I tell you I haven't told the police? It was a simple robbery.
I've been investigating robberies for a number of years, and I don't recall one which was exactly simple.
What could be so unusual about this one?
Well, the mechanics were a little peculiar. Why stage a robbery like that in such a public place?
Criminals do stupid things.
Amateurs, maybe, but Wilson was a professional. And the evidence seems to indicate that he was in that parking lot for quite a while. Why did he single you out?
I don't think he was being selective. He was probably just working up his nerve.
Speaking of nerve, it took quite a bit of courage for you to jump an armed man like that over a simple robbery. Why'd you do that?
I don't know. It was dumb. Maybe it was the drinks I'd had. Guess I'll regret it the rest of my life.
I understand your wife was a great art collector.
Yeah, she was interested in art.
All these seem to be by the same man, Lawrence Whitley. Never heard of him.
Well, not many people have. My wife sponsored him. She thought he had potential.
So it looks like he dug it up out of the bottom of a hen house.
If you don't have any more questions, Mr. Jones, would you excuse me? This whole thing's been very rough on me.
Oh, yes, certainly. A pleasure to talk to you.
Hello?
Everything's ready, Mrs. Wilson.
Oh, Mr. Court. I'm so grateful. I really am. But...
But what?
Well, I've been thinking, $5,000 really doesn't go very far these days. See, I'd like to establish a really solid financial base, so I wouldn't have to bother you again.
How solid a base?
Well, could you see your way to 20,000?
It's a long way, isn't it?
Not if it's the end of the line. I wouldn't impose any further. You've been so kind.
Well, I don't want to be seen at that motel again. Can we meet someplace else?
Certainly. As long as it's public with a lot of people around. Girl has to protect herself, you understand.
Do you know the Lebec Lodge in the North Valley?
No, but I'll find it.
I'll be in the bar at 8 o'clock.
I'm looking forward to it.
some of these are kind of hard to figure out.
Well, maybe we just don't understand abstract art.
Well, I read once that according to Delacroix, it's supposed to be the extension of the music of the painting. I guess I'm tone deaf with these. What do you got on Wilson?
Well, he was born and raised in Fresno. Spent 3 years in the Marines. He was given a bad conduct discharge for theft.
Where do you go from there?
Back home to get married. He lived with his wife, Catherine, for a short period of time. Then he left to drift around the country. He served time in 2 states for assault and armed robbery.
What about his wife?
She stayed at home. They were still married at the time of his death.
Very interesting. What do you know about Fresno?
Well, just that they roll up the sidewalks at 9 o'clock.
Well, nobody wants to look at a sidewalk. It's been left out all night. You could try the winery.
Why not?
Taste the Pinot Noir. Pick a few figs.
Ask a few questions.
Find out all you can about Wilson. Whether he had any contact with the painter, Lawrence Whitley.
I'll get back as soon as I can.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Jones, is it? I'm Larry Whitley.
How do you do?
I see you like that piece. It's called Model in Aspic.
I hope she can dig her way out.
I'll give her your message. What did you want to see me about?
I understand you were a favorite of Linda Court.
She bought some of my paintings.
I saw them.
Evidently, they didn't turn you on. Well, I don't blame you. These aren't the best side of my work, but people like to be confused. I mean, I work up a piece of garbage, and suddenly everyone is turned on to how a sensory appeal must result from an unintelligible meaning. It's a game I play.
You don't seem to be enjoying it.
Linda liked them. I thought that I could be another Cézanne, but I'd have done anything to please her.
Mr. Whitley, it's possible that the man that killed Linda was a hired killer. It could be that her death was a mistake. Her husband might have been the original target.
You're saying that somebody wanted him done away with? Whom did you have in mind?
Well, if Wilson were alive, I'd ask him. But since he isn't, I'll have to go with the most likely suspect.
Me? Why?
A man who paints something he hates just because that's the way a woman wants it.
He might demand something in return.
Do you recall the remark, if I can't own you, no one will?
I think I phrased that a little better. It wouldn't be necessary for me to do away with Charlie, Mr. Jones, because Linda was planning to divorce him.
That's something I hadn't heard.
It is quite true. Charlie would have been destroyed.
Yes, in addition to losing his wife, he'd probably lost a good job. Did Charlie know that Linda was going to divorce him?
I'm not sure. He might have known about us. Linda was never much for discretion.
There's nobody here.
Well, I forgot the place was closed on Monday. Got your money in the car.
Why don't you bring it here?
Why don't don't you come with me?
Back off. I'll go with you. And the money better be there.
How was Fresno?
I was wrong. They really know how to live up there.
You look like you enjoyed the wine.
Oh, it was all those dinners that got to me. I had to entertain half the women in Fresno to get any information.
Did it pay off?
Yeah. I located a neighbor of Catherine Wilson's. She gave me this. That's Mrs. Wilson.
Find out anything else?
Oh, Frank Wilson visited his wife in Fresno 2 weeks ago. And he left her some money.
How much?
Almost $2,000.
Did she tell her neighbor that?
No, the neighbor had a friend who worked in one of the banks. Kathy exchanged all the money for traveler's checks and then drew out all the money in her account.
Sounds like she wasn't figuring on coming home soon. Did she accompany Wilson to Los Angeles?
No, it seems she left with a boyfriend. A nightclub bouncer named Lee Masters.
I don't think he'll be going home either. I think I just read where they found him dead out at Lebec Lodge last night. Evidence indicates victim of hit and run. Kathy Wilson has been having a miserable run of luck with her men. I think I ought to learn all I can about this accident, if that's what it was.
Okay, is there anything you want me to do? Excuse me.
Get some rest.
Oh, thanks. That's very kind.
You seem to be feeling a lot better now.
Well, I guess it's true. The time heals.
I'd sort of hoped it was because I was here.
Back in a minute. Anything I can help you with, Jones?
Just want to have a chat. You sure keep this up nice.
That's right.
Front bumper shine like it's brand new. No dents, rust.
Well, I like to take care of my things.
Funny you didn't take as good care of the back bumper. It's showing signs of wear.
Well, maybe I'm just not too steady in reverse.
Like the old guy back home, he had a car that would only run backwards. He didn't care where he was going. He
Just wanted to see where he had been. Is that what you came to talk to me about?
Well, no. Mr. Court, did you know that Frank Wilson had a wife? Lived up in Fresno. He visited her about a week ago and left her a couple $1,000 for household money. Now, where would he get a sum like that?
Some crime, I suppose. Why don't you ask her?
She wasn't home. Word is she's down here in Los Angeles somewhere. If you hear from her, would you call me?
Would you explain to me why I'd hear from her?
Well, sometimes wives get a little touchy about their husband getting killed, even if it's for a good cause.
I'll be careful. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some business to attend.
Sure. Sure's a nice day for a drive. You have it out today?
Just to have it washed.
Sure looks nice.
Charles? Call for you. I better shower and change.
Yes.
Dirty murderer.
Well, I figured I hadn't heard the last of you.
Oh, you have. You have, because the police can take it from here. I'm calling them.
It's not going to get you any money.
I'm not in business anymore. You're too dangerous.
Oh, yes, you are, lady. You're still in business, or you wouldn't be calling me here.
Price has gone up to $50,000.
It'll take time to raise that.
And it'll take time for me to figure out a payoff where you can't get your hands on me.
There's no problem. I can't afford to hurt anyone else.
Oh, you can't afford not to.
Looks like pretty hard work.
Yeah, but it's shaping up. Been on it since early this morning.
Mr. Court been down to look it over?
No, he drove out without giving a glance. He seemed to have other things on his mind.
Oh, yeah. I guess he was worried about his car. He told me he had an accident. He kind of banged it up.
Yeah, front end. Looked like he used a bumper for a can opener.
Don't work too hard.
Okay.
Get the money and stay by your phone.
Take a look over here, Barnaby.
Look at this time mark. This could have been made last night.
Looks like 2 cars were here, Lieutenant. Say, did you happen to find a motel key on Masters?
What makes you think that?
Just a guess. He had to stay somewhere down here. I figured he didn't buy a house.
Well, you're close. We found a receipt on him from the Hollywood Motel.
What'd they have to say?
But he checked in there 2 days ago with a young woman.
Is that a fact?
We got a description, but haven't been able to locate her yet.
She probably left town.
It's hard, I know.
What?
Being without someone you've loved for a long time. But I think anyone can go on. If he knows people still care for him. Won't you let me help?
You're a kind and gentle girl, Terry. Maybe the only one I've ever known. People can't help me now. Somewhere in the world, there's a place where fat, old ex-football players can find some peace. I'd like to dump everything and go look for it. But I'm afraid.
Of what?
Myself. See, all my life, operators smarter than me have used me. Made me out to be some kind of a god because I could run past people. Then one day they said, you'll have to make it another way. Only I don't know another way. So the second team moved in. The vultures waiting to pick at the bones.
I don't understand.
A wife that Was amused like I was a toy and got bored when the paint rubbed off. A company that put me in public relations with a fancy office. Put me on exhibit.
You'll have to forget about the past. It'll only make you unhappy.
You see, that's the tough part. It's tough giving up anything. I don't care how it was gained.
Would it be easier if you had someone you could trust?
Do you think it's possible?
I think anything's possible. If you try hard enough for it. Maybe we could try for it together.
Would you excuse me? Hello?
You know the Bayshore Bowling Alley?
Yes?
We'll be there at 5 o'clock. Put the money in one of the daily rent lockers at the west end of the building.
And?
There's a phone booth in Van Nuys. In the parking lot of a market at the corner of Chandler and Ventura. Tape the key under the shelf.
Chandler and Ventura.
I'll send somebody to pick up the key. You follow him and I'll be right on the phone to the police.
I don't know. It sounds all right, but,
Stanley, everything is going to be fine. There's nothing to it, Stanley. And you pick up a fast $500 just for bringing the package home to Mama.
nothing's gonna go wrong.
No way. Everything's going to go right. For you and for me.
Well, I don't know what I can tell you I haven't already told the police. He and the woman registered here on the 29th. The police said his name was Masters.
Is that the way you registered?
No. He used the name of Scott Waters.
Is this the woman who was with him?
Yep, that's her.
Thank you very much for your trouble.
Are the police looking for her?
They may not be the only one.
Long time, Mr. J. How have you been?
Good. You?
Same old 6 and 7s, you know. Got any tough ones?
Yep. What was Zach Wheat's lifetime batting average?
Zach Wheat. 317. 132 home runs. 1,248 runs batted in.
Too easy for you. Have to try football. Hey, I hear Charlie Court's a customer here.
Yeah, used to be quite a regular.
All right. What was his college touchdown total?
None. Came off Sandlot.
You mean he never played anything with pro?
No. Wait a minute. He did play some service ball.
Where?
Marines, I think. I had a team stationed up at Cherry Point.
Cherry Point, North Carolina?
Yeah, about 10 years ago. Check it with Frank Wilson's service record.
I'll get right on it.
Help you? Yeah, I had a few things to check, and I noticed that all the other lockers were rented except the one I took.
Yeah, a guy came in a little while ago, and he wanted to roll of dimes. I saw him rent all the lockers. He left, came back in a few minutes, and he opened one of them.
Is there a place near here where they make duplicate keys?
Yeah, right down the block.
Thanks.
I called the Marine base at Cherry Point. Frank Wilson was stationed there, the same time as Charlie Court, but they were in different units.
Did Wilson play football?
No, but he was the equipment manager for the team.
That means he did have some contact with Court.
All right, that establishes the tie-up between the two of them. Any word on Wilson's wife?
Not yet, but I think we better get to her before Court does.
Yes, well, thank you very much.
Anything?
I finally located the only friend she has here in Los Angeles, but she hasn't seen her.
The way I figured, Kathy was probably blackmailing Court. If I were playing that game, I'd start heading out the minute I got the money.
Well, I checked all the airlines. There's no record of a Catherine Wilson making any reservations.
Waters.
What?
That's the name she checked into the motel under. Catherine Waters. Or Mrs. Scott Waters.
Got it. Mrs. Scott Waters, 11 a.m. flight to Hawaii on Consolidated Airlines, and she left a callback number.
Let's see where this number is. Grant Hotel in Hollywood.
Got any more friends around?
Please. I promise I will not bother you again.
What happened? That was a clever payoff you arranged.
How did you find out about the duplicate key at the bowling alley?
I noticed all the lockers were rented except one. Then the cashier told me about your boyfriend. He shouldn't have come back so soon after he had that key made.
What did you do to him?
There won't be any more trouble. More important is, what am I going to do with you?
You fire that gun, it'll raise everybody in the place.
Come on.
Oh, please.
You're coming with me whether you like it or not. Backstairs.
Hold it, Court!
Get up those stairs. Go on, move! Move!
You're an open target, boy. Drop the gun.
No, you throw yours out or she gets it.
I'm not that concerned with her welfare. Come on, Charlie, it's all over.
Look out, he's got another gun!
Call the police. Tell them to send an ambulance. Too bad. You could have saved yourself a bullet, son.
Never in the world would I have thought it was Charles. You're sure?
He gave a full confession to the police.
Still, I can't help but be sorry for him, even though he did do a terrible thing. Poor Linda. You could never tell where marriage will lead.
No, sometimes it's a gamble.
Still, it's better to gamble than be alone. Miss Park? I myself have gambled several times. What about you, Mr. Jones?
Just once. I'm a widower.
Oh, well. Well, don't you think only once is really not giving it a chance?
Barnaby Jones' office, may I help you?
Yes, yes, I'll catch the first plane. Excuse me, ma'am. It's an emergency.
Oh. Well. I hope you have. He's a charming man. Does he own a dinner jacket?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, we can rent him one. Bye-bye now.
Since when does picking up your laundry mean an emergency?
When a lady like that gets to itch to gamble again.
Barnaby Jones, starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather, with guest stars Bradford Dillman, Robert Hogan, special guest star William Conrad. Tonight's episode, Requiem for a Son.
$94, $96, $98, $100,000.
I'm coming. Hello.
Hello, Frank. Hal Jones.
Oh, Hal, how are you?
I've got a problem.
Yeah, what's wrong?
Look, we're buddies, right? In the same business. I need some professional advice.
Where are you?
In a phone booth. Look, I've got myself into one hell of a jam trying to help out a client. May I talk to you in confidence?
Shoot.
Not over the phone. You know, I'm only a few minutes away.
Well, look, I just put a spinach souffle in the oven. Why don't you come up here and share it with me, huh?
I'll be right up.
Okay.
Thanks, Frank.
that you?
Who's this?
Well, this is Frank Kenner. Who am I talking to?
This is Hal's father, Mr. Cannon. Hal's dead. He was killed last night.
Oh, Mr. Jones, give me a minute, will you?
Why were you calling?
Well, Hal called me last night.
What time?
Oh, I guess it was about 11:45. From a payphone, he said that he was in some kind of trouble.
What kind?
He didn't say. He just said he wanted to talk to me, and I told him to come on up to my place. He said he'd be right over.
I'll be right over.
No, wait a minute. Hold on. Are the police there?
They're here.
Then why don't we meet at Hal's office before they get there?
I'm on my way.
All right.
She's going to rest now. How are you feeling? Angry. Betty, listen to me. I've got to go out for a while. Mrs. Brenner will be here with you. I'll be back soon.
Oh, please. Please.
Keep the press away from her.
Barnaby Jones.
Frank Cannon.
I'd like to offer my condolences.
Thanks.
Hal was a close friend.
I don't have to tell you how he valued your friendship. What did he say to you last night?
Oh, not much more than what I told you, that he'd gotten himself into trouble trying to help a client.
Client?
Yeah, and he wanted to talk to me in confidence.
Did he say where he was?
Just a few minutes away, he said.
Griffith Park. He was shot down in the phone booth he was calling you from. Place is like an old friend. And there are not many of them left. 4 years ago, when I retired, I calculated I had lived exactly half my life out of this office. Hal used to love this place. He used to come here as a boy, worked his way through USC, used to study here at night. Right in there at my desk, sometimes right in here. Oh, I used to give him some help now and then. Chemistry, clinical psychology, forensic medicine, criminology. Those were my specialties, you know.
I know.
When I turned the business over to Hal, he didn't change a thing.
Barnaby, I'd like your permission to take on this case. I'd consider it a personal score to find the man who killed your son.
That's very generous of you, Cannon, but this is something for me to do. Here's another old friend. Only had to use it once in 28 years.
Look, Barnaby, I'm going to be blunt with you. You have been in retirement for 4 years now. You said that yourself.
Yes, but the old reflex is still as sharp as a colt's. You ever work with horses, Cannon?
Only the $10 window. Don't remind me of it. What about Hal's wife? I suppose she's going to be needing your help now.
Yes, I thought of that. But the more I think of Betty, the more resolved I am to get this man myself. Cannon, you may be the best in the business, but I did all right for myself for 28 years, and Hal was my son.
Okay.
Which isn't to say that I might not need your help.
What case was Hal working on, do you know?
No, I doubt if we'll find out here. He was as uncomplicated as I was. Carried everything in his head.
Evidently, he went to a party night before last Thursday. Somebody by the name of Terry.
Terry McCormick.
Terry McCormick. That's the lawyer who's running for Congress, huh?
Hal did some work for him a couple of years ago on an industrial espionage case. McCormick has kept him on retainer ever since.
Ever heard of a girl by the name of Karen Armsby?
No, what's this?
Yesterday's newspaper. Says there that she worked on McCormick's staff.
So, on behalf of my campaign co-workers and myself, I'd like to say that we're deeply gratified to learn that we've moved ahead in the polls.
Let me ask a question, Mr. McCormick. Some commentators attribute your surging popularity to your free spending campaign style.
Well, Mr. Russell, let me say this. I have contributed considerable resources of my own to this campaign, but I believe that my exposure has not communicated my personal means to the voters as much as it has my spirit of commitment. I think that should do it, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you very much. See you all in Washington, I hope.
One more.
Mr. McCormick.
I'm sorry, I have a heavy schedule this afternoon.
I'm Hal Jones' father.
Please, come into my office. I don't want to be disturbed. All right?
That will be all for today, ladies and gentlemen. Most of your questions will be answered in this press release, so please take one on your way out.
I only heard the news on my car radio as I was driving in. I can't tell you how shocked I was. All of us who knew Hal felt so strongly.
Yes, everyone liked him. Almost everyone. I don't want to take too much of your time, Mr. McCormick.
Don't you worry about my time, sir. Here, please, come sit down. And tell me if there's anything at all that I can do for you.
Yes? Yes, you might be able to help me a great deal. You see, I'm investigating Hal's murder. When was the last time you saw Hal?
Well, as a matter of fact, he came to a party at my house in Malibu last Thursday night.
Really? Big party?
I don't suppose there were more than 25 or 30 people. It started out as a get-together for some of the members of my campaign staff, and it just grew. It's fortunate that my wife and children are in Aspen visiting her parents.
Was he alone?
Hal? Yes. But you're asking me, was he working for me? Well, the answer is yes again, but I don't understand because it was just campaign security.
Were you having problems?
No, not at all. I invited Hal simply to meet the other members of my staff.
I wonder if it would be possible for me to have a list of the other guests who attended the party?
Certainly. I'll have my secretary make out a list for you this afternoon.
Well, here's my card, in case you want to get in touch with me for any reason. And thank you very much for your time, Mr. McCormick.
Please call me Terry, sir.
If you stop calling me sir. I forgot to offer my condolences to you on the death of the young lady who was working for you. Karen Armsby. Well, good luck on your campaign.
I think then we better check at what time we're supposed to be at the station. Would you let me know?
Okay, Terry.
How'd you know it was me?
You have a rather distinctive silhouette. I talked to Terry McCormick today. He said Hal was at the party, but that's all. Here's a list of the other people. Karen Armsby was there, too. He played it close to his vest about her. Awful close.
Two people at the same party, both now dead. One murdered, the other suicide. 1 day apart.
Can you make a connection?
What, do you question the suicide?
I question everything. Of course, the medical examiner's report is pretty conclusive. She swallowed a whole bottle of barbiturates. That could kill her in 15 minutes.
Yeah, it must have been some lousy party. And a long ride home for her, too.
That's what bothers me. Who took her home? Or did she drive herself?
I think I'm gonna check her place out. You got anything else?
Just the ballistics report on Hal. Slug from a .38.
How did you happen to find her at 10 o'clock in the morning?
I was returning her keys.
What key?
The car keys. Her car had been in the shop for a week. They just brought it back. The driver left the keys with me. I always put things away for Karen. She said I was like a mother to her.
And somebody else drove her Thursday night, huh?
I don't know if it was one of them. She had lots of beaux. I didn't see her Thursday night.
Can I keep these for a little while?
Don't know what good they're going to do her now. With all that attention, why do you think she did it?
Yes. All right, I'll take it. Hello?
I could have killed you today. That was just a warning, Mr. Candidate.
Who is this?
Where were you last night? We had a date, remember? At the Griffith Park Observatory? You think I was kidding or something? I kid you not. You need a little push, maybe. Like next time I try your side of the windshield. I got something better. I've got Karen's suicide note right here in my hand.
What are you talking about?
Oh, it's a real Valentine. Like how you were going to divorce your wife and marry her. But you lied. I'd be glad to give you a copy. I had several made up this morning for the newspapers. But I'm keeping the original just for you.
What do you want?
You've got a very short memory. The same as before, 100,000 in 20s. Have the money ready and be at your phone at 11 tonight.
He's not coming back.
I know, honey. I know.
It's what I've been afraid of for years. He always said, oh, honey, they don't shoot people like me. The worst I'll ever get is a traffic ticket or a punch in the face.
I know. I used to say the same thing myself.
Oh, I have got to do something. Let me fix you a cup of coffee.
I guess I could do with a glass of milk.
Good. Come on.
Betty, I've been thinking, why don't you come out to the ranch for a few days? Been kind of lonely for me out there.
Well, I guess we're both gonna need someone to take care of us.
Or someone to take care of.
I know. Let me think about it.
Well, while you're thinking, I'm going to make you a promise. I promise that I'm going to get the man that killed Hal.
The same thing will happen to you.
No, he wasn't prepared for it. I am. It makes all the difference.
I can't stop you. Hal was the same way.
Have you any idea what he was up to? I didn't think so. What about that party he went to Thursday night?
Terry McCormick's?
Did he say anything about it?
No. He acted strange the next morning.
Strange?
Oh, moody. Like something was on his mind. We were going to the ball game in the afternoon. He forgot all about it when Terry called.
Terry called him Friday?
Yes. I know they met in Hal's office that afternoon.
Did he say where he was going Friday night?
Same thing he always said. I'm going to meet a client.
I'll get it. Hello?
Well, I'm glad I reached you.
What about?
I think I have something which may help in your search.
I'm listening.
Can you come to my house? It's Rocky Point Cove, Pacific Coast Highway.
I'll be there. Betty. I have to go out for a while.
Oh, where?
I'm going to meet a client. Quite a view you got there. Makes me think of China. All that water and nothing else between China and us. There she lies, a sleeping giant. Let her sleep. For when she wakes, she will shake the world. You know who said that?
John Foster Dulles?
Napoleon Bonaparte.
Ah. Here.
Oh, no, thank you. What's your opinion?
Of Napoleon?
The Chinese.
Are you asking me as a politician or as myself?
Aren't they one and the same? Well, the point I'm about to make is about the Chinese. Some of our politicians seem to have learned a lesson from them. You never know whether they mean what they say. One truth concealing another.
Jones, I'd like to hire you.
Why don't you start by telling me everything you can that'll help me catch my son's killer?
Hal was killed by the same man who's blackmailing me.
And you weren't entirely truthful with me this morning.
No.
Why?
The blackmailer took a shot at me this noon in the garage of my office building.
And you saw the man?
No, I didn't. I ducked, naturally anticipating another shot, which never came. And by the time I looked up, he'd gone.
You think he's trying to kill you?
No. It was a warning shot. Because he called me at my office early this afternoon to threaten me again. Unless I come up with more money.
How much money does he want?
Another $100,000.
Another $100,000? Tell me, Mr. McCormick, why are you being blackmailed?
I'm a married man, Jones. The past few months, I've been having an affair with Karen Armsby.
Karen? Oh, yes, that's the young lady that...
Yes, that's the one. And she was here on Thursday night. In fact, this is where she killed herself.
Well, the newspaper said that her body was found in her apartment.
It was, because Hal and I took it there. You see, I discovered her body about midnight, lying in my bedroom. I couldn't believe it. She was lying there with that empty pill bottle beside her. Anyway, I went out, I locked the door, I went and told Hal. We waited for the guests to leave, which was about 1 o'clock in the morning. And then we took Karen and the pill bottle back to her place.
Could I, trouble you for a glass of milk? I see you're a sailor, too.
Understand me, Jones. Hal didn't want to do it. In fact, I'm ashamed to say I had to lie to him. I told him that I'd never had an affair with Karen, that she was simply a lovesick political groupie with a history of emotional problems, which is true, and that her suicide in this house would wreck my career, wreck my marriage. It would make it look as if we really had been having an affair and that I'd tried to reject her, which was also true. Anyway, that's why Hal finally decided to help me. Because he trusted me. And because he believed in my political future.
You mean you brought the girl all the way out here to reject her?
No, she came with an actor friend. I'm not sure which. The place was full of Hollywood types that night.
Well, wouldn't the person that brought her have stayed to take her home?
I don't know. People were coming and going all evening.
How did all this get Hal killed?
Well, we didn't know it at the time, but obviously someone must have seen Karen's body in my bedroom before I did. Either that or they saw us carry her out. Anyway, I received this at noon on Friday. It's a demand for $100,000 to be delivered to the parking lot of the Griffith Park Observatory at midnight.
So you hired Hal to go after the blackmailer?
No, he was only supposed to deliver the money.
But you think he tried to catch the man?
Why else would the man have killed him?
Where's your car?
It's parked in the lower driveway. It lodged in the passenger headrest.
Mind if I hang on to this a while?
Not at all. What are you going to do with it?
I'm not entirely sure right now. Have you any idea who this man is?
No, he told me simply to expect his call at 11 tonight.
So you want me to do what you think Hal was trying to do?
Yes, I want you to catch this man. He's Hal's killer. You said you're out to get him, and neither one of us wants the police to do this job for us.
McCormick, I don't want you to think that I approve of your morals. In fact, I wouldn't even vote for you. But if you can help me catch my son's killer, I'll be happy to oblige.
How can you eat those things?
I can eat anything, as long as I can wash it down with a glass of cold milk. You know, I can believe the suicide part of Terry's story. I can even believe Hal's part in it. He was always fiercely loyal to his clients. But I just can't see him going as far as helping to pay off a blackmailer.
Maybe he didn't.
What do you mean?
Maybe that's why he called me that night. Maybe he'd gotten himself into something he didn't like and he couldn't go through with it.
But why kill him?
Well, maybe he saw the blackmailer, like Terry said, and he was going to try to take him. Or maybe the blackmailer thought that Hal was calling the police.
Maybe a lot of things. We could sit here and whine and maybe ourselves to death. But I'm taking that phone call with Terry tonight at 11 o'clock. I'm interested in finding out who's going to be on the other end of that line. Party guests?
Yeah, a couple of them. A couple of Karen's other boyfriends. See, it's Reed and Marshall. Their names on the party list. Reed Carpenter and Marshall Eaton. They're both actors. Their addresses are on the backs of the pictures.
Oh, we don't have much time. Why don't you take one and I'll take the other?
Okay. You know, Barnaby, I would love to thank you for this wonderful lunch, but but I just don't have it in me.
Sure, I was there, but I didn't take Karen. I mean, I took somebody.
What about Karen?
This is a friend of Hal Jones, Donna.
How do you do?
What's he asking you about Karen for?
Oh, come on. He's talking to everybody who was at McCormick's party.
Some coincidence you take me to a party where she's at.
I didn't even know she was going to be there. Reed took her.
Reed Carpenter?
Yeah.
She didn't care any more about Reed than I do. She probably conned him into taking her because it was McCormick's party. She was freaky for McCormick.
I don't imagine that pleased Reed too much, huh?
Pleased him. They had an argument that night. Reed walked out.
Who took her home?
Oh, she always found somebody.
The girl is dead, Donna.
Well, I know how that breaks your heart, lover.
Well, Mr. Eaton, perhaps you better go back and finish your shower. Thank you.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yeah?
I thought I recognized you. You know I watch your show every week.
Well, it's not the greatest part in town, but at least it's a running role.
I think you're pretty good. I really do. And I'm tough on those cop shows. You see, I'm sort of one myself.
Cop?
Private. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
About what?
Hal Jones. I'm his dad.
But he was just...
That's what I'm trying to find out about, asking some of the people who saw him last, like that party Thursday night.
Oh, McCormick's party. Yeah, I was there. Not for very long, though.
You remember seeing Hal?
Yeah, I saw him.
Remember anything else about him?
Well, to tell you the truth, I don't remember much. You see, I didn't stay too long.
You left early?
The girl I took wanted to stay a little longer.
Oh, yes, that's right. Miss Armsby. You must have been terribly shocked.
I was. And I wasn't.
How do you mean?
Well, I knew she was headed for trouble. I just didn't know it had happened that fast.
You mean you knew she was going to kill herself?
Oh, no.
Oh, another man.
You better believe it.
Somebody that was there that night?
The host.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that rumor myself. Here, have a mint. They're good. Well, say, since you left early, I guess you wouldn't know how she got home.
What does my leaving early have to do with Hal Jones?
You're absolutely right, Mr. Carpenter. Not a thing.
Unless what?
You think there could be a connection?
Listen, Dad, why do you keep bugging me with your questions?
Because your answers get better and better. as your manners get worse and worse.
This is my floor. Any more questions?
I think you've answered them, Sonny. I'll tell you this, that Reed Carpenter is a real hothead. He hates questions about Thursday night almost as much as he hates Terry McCormick's guts.
Marshal Eaton said about the same thing. Evidently, Reed and Karen had a fight about Terry, and he left the party early.
And could have come back later, take her home, found the body.
That's a great setup for blackmail, but murder? Nah.
Look at this. Terry McCormick insists that the man who fired at him is the same man who killed Hal. This is a blow-up of the bullet that killed Hal. See the striations? Barrel markings along the side. Now this is a slug that I dug out of McCormick's car today.
Let me see the other one.
You see the markings are entirely different.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, this is from a 38, but someone else's 38.
Sounds like we're looking for two men, a blackmailer and a murderer. We're going to a blackmailing. I want to see those two men meet.
Well, Reed Carpenter is just a guess.
Educated guess. Come on, my friend. I'll hold Terry's hand. You see where Carpenter leads you.
Okay.
Hello?
Go down the Harbor Freeway, across the Signal Street overpass to the first dirt road. Drive down to the tanks at the railroad tracks. Be there at midnight, alone. When you see another car flash its lights, turn off yours. Get out of your car. Leave the bag halfway between the two cars and walk away. Stand with your back turned until you hear a car drive away. If you turn, you'll be shot. And this time I won't try to miss.
Well, it doesn't leave us much time. Where's the money? You carry it.
What do you need me for?
If we're gonna catch this man tonight, you better be there. If he sees me, he'll know it's a phony setup. And don't worry, you'll have plenty of protection. I'll be in the vicinity.
I hope you know what you're doing.
Isn't that why you hired me? I know exactly what I'm doing. Let me out around the turn up there. You go on ahead.
Get down there.
No, Frank, this is my war party.
Those men are probably both armed.
I know.
Stop right there. Put it down. Get moving and stay in the light. Keep your back turned.
Just don't move. Well, Mr. Carpenter, I thought you only played roles of redeeming social virtue. Get up. Hold out your hand.
Are you willing to wreck an entire career for a lousy $100,000?
Oh, no. Gentleman feels that you have a lot more at stake than he does.
Well, it's almost worth it to see him suffer.
Your life in jail?
My life?
That's the usual sentence for murder.
What are you talking about?
Hal Jones. You killed him Friday night when you made the blackmail drop.
Nobody made any drop. He never showed up. I waited up there for 2 hours.
Well, now, that's an interesting story, isn't it, McCormick? Might even be some truth in it.
What do you mean?
You thought that the only other person who knew about Karen's death was Hal. When the first blackmail note came, you thought he sent it. When you sent Hal to deliver the money that night, you followed him. When he didn't go to Griffith Park Observatory, you thought he was delivering the money to himself, and you shot him.
And tried to frame me.
You made the frame up a lot easier, Mr. Carpenter, by running around firing wild warning shots.
Jones, what are you talking about? You're supposed to be working for me.
That's right. You hired me to catch your blackmailer and my son's killer. Why, that's almost a direct quote. And by golly, I think I got the both of you.
I should have known you were too old to think straight when I heard you rambling on about China and Napoleon. Where's the proof?
You're looking right at it, right here.
What?
This little old bag full of money. Just like the other night when Hal took it out with him. You see, I know this is Hal's because I gave it to him for his birthday a week ago. And how the hell did you get it back from him after he was murdered? Unless you were there.
Zip up the back. Bring it to the car. I didn't want this to happen. Believe me, Jones. Any more than I wanted to kill Hal.
Drop it. Or I'll kill you where you stand.
Let it go.
Thanks.
Like your old friend.
Glad I didn't have to use it again.
Barnaby.
Glad you could make it.
Thank you. How does it feel to be back in harness, an old war horse like you?
Well, it's a funny thing. Life was so good. Retirement, perfect health, nice ranch.
Yeah?
There was something missing.
And now you know, huh?
My work. And God help me that this is the way I must rediscover it. Through the death of my son.
Come on.
I used to be pretty good, you know.
Pretty good. The best in the business.
Oh, wait a minute. That's my line for you.
Ah, come on.